Good afternoon and welcome. Please take your seats. In just a few moments, the ceremony of the AISL Graduation class of 2026 will commence. If you could start by just double checking that phone is to silent, that would be an excellent way to begin. And then give us just a minute and we'll be ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the commencement of our 2026 graduation. We will now welcome our leadership team, board of directors, faculty, and finally our graduates of 2026. members of our board of directors, leadership team, faculty, parents, friends, alumni, and of course, our graduates. A very warm welcome to our graduation ceremony. Please remain standing for the Zambian National Anthem and the American National Anthem sung by our high school choir. Please be seated. Thank you, choir, for that. It is now with great pleasure that I can welcome to the podium our director, Dr. Ali Tour Hancock.
Good afternoon to our distinguished guests, members of the AISL board, faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2026, or, as of this moment, our graduands and soon to be graduates. It is both an honor and a genuine joy to welcome you to this important milestone in your lives. To me, each graduation in any international school context is grounded in two main things: the very tradition of graduation itself and the uniqueness of the class, with its special mark to make your graduation specific for you as a class. And Francesco the bear here is a testament to that, which you will hear more about later. So, a couple of months ago, you were having your photos taken for the yearbook, and so you were dressed in your cap and gown. The cap, of which most of you did not know, is called a mortarboard. Many of you will wear these one more time when you graduate from a degree, or maybe even two or more with a master's or even a PhD. Who knows where your journey will take you? As an ex-history teacher of 17 years, I have an inherent interest in the past to try and understand the many of our traditions today. So it got me thinking, do any of you, or do any of us here, even know the significance of the regalia you are all proudly donning on stage right now? And why on earth would you be wearing it? So, today you are dressed in something that has been worn for centuries, as far back as 1,000 years ago, the cap and gown. They are a graduation tradition where scholars dress in robes to signify learning, identity, and belonging. The mortarboard itself, named after the tool used by masons, symbolizes the building of knowledge, piece by piece. So here you are wearing something deeply rooted in history with a comfortable predictability, and yet stepping into a future that is anything but predictable. Because if there is one thing we know about the world you are entering, it is this, and you've heard it often. Our world is changing and changing fast, faster than any generation before you has experienced. Technology is shaping how we think, how we work. Global systems are shifting. Certainty is becoming rare. And yet, here you are in this moment on stage, grounded in tradition, but facing transformation. This moment is a reflection for all of you in your educational journeys. Some of you, as embassy families, may have moved every 2 years. And for some of you, this moment carries even more weight in the context of AISL, as you've been here a long time. There are 6 students here today who have been at AISL for over 16 years. 16! And one for 16 and a half. This means that they came here when they were 2 years old. From your first days in early learning, small backpacks, big emotions, learning how to share, how to read, how to make friends, to standing here today, ready to step into the world. Excuse me. AISL has not just been your school, it's been your constant, your place of growth, challenge, friendship, and identity. And now, for the first time in your lives, all of you actually, regardless of when you came to AISL, there is no next grade. But that's not sad. You are closing an incredible chapter of your lives and will be embarking upon new and exciting adventures. And as a class, you represent something very special. You are diverse, you are globally minded, you have grown up in a community where difference is normal and where learning to listen, to understand, and to collaborate has been part of your daily experience. That matters, because the world you are stepping into does not need more people who think the same. It needs people like you, the class of 2026, who can navigate differences with respect and intelligence and genuine care. So what do you take with you? Because while much will change, not everything should. You will leave behind timetables, classrooms, familiar routines, and perhaps for the first time, a clear path. But what you carry forward is far more important. You carry your values, your habits, your relationships, and your AISL identity, and your sense of who you are. The original mission of the IBDP some 60 years ago was that by the end of the 2-year journey, you knew yourself better than when you started and understand that others with their differences could also be right. So I hope the experience has helped you to grow and to truly do know yourself and use this as a power tool as you step to the next phase of your life journey. Class of 2026, you are stepping into a complex and changing world, but you are ready. Not because you have all the answers, but because you know how to learn, how to think, and how to ask the right questions, and how to be part of something bigger than yourselves. The world you are entering is still being shaped, and that is your opportunity. Don't just adapt to the future, help shape it. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Thank you, Dr. Tour, for that history lesson. I'll never look at the mortarboard again the same way. Thanks. I would now like to welcome to the podium our poet laureate, Raina, who will recite her poem entitled Parallel to Yesterday.
Yesterday does not leave cleanly. It lingers in the scraped desks with carved initials in the quiet chaos of hallways that somehow held every vision of a person becoming. It is still here, not as a place, but as a feeling of walking into rooms, not yet knowing what kind of life is being built inside them. And now, without warning, the class of 2026 stands at the edge of that feeling, looking back at it, like a shoreline fading with the tide. Parallel to yesterday, close enough to hear it breathe, far enough that it will never be lived again the same way. Because the strange truth of growing up is this: it never announces itself, it happens in fragments. In the moment someone finally speaks up in a room they used to stay silent in. In the day laughter lasts a little too long and nobody wants it to end. In the quiet realization that people once unfamiliar have become essential. Nothing about it feels cinematic while it's happening. But looking back, it is impossible to call it ordinary, because something rare took place here. People changed. A person who once doubled their voice learned how to use it. A person who thought they were behind realized there was never a race. A person who felt invisible was seen, and in between all of it, something unspoken formed. A kind of quiet gravity between people. The kind that makes someone stay a little longer just to make sure another person is okay. The kind that turns applause into something sincere, not because it is required, but because it is deserved. That is what this class became, a living proof that people shape each other more than they realize. And that is what will be carried forward. Not just knowledge, not just memories, but traces of one another. The confidence borrowed from a friend, the encouragement given at the right moment, the laugh that saved a difficult day without even trying to. Years from now, life will stretch into unfamiliar shapes, and something small will bring it all back. And in that instant, yesterday will not feel gone. It will feel parallel, still existing, just out of reach. Not as something lost, but as something that made everything next possible.
Thank you, Raina. We're now going to move on to our student speakers. So each year, graduating classes here have had at least one student speaker. This year, you're going to hear from a few of them on different themes: the past, the present, and the future. Coming at you first to talk a little bit about the memories thus far is Annie and Lauren.
"16 years ago, we walked into the school with Velcro shoes, oversized backpacks, and absolutely no idea we'd still be standing here together today.
When Annie and I were asked to speak about the past, one thing stood out to us.
This school hasn't just been where we learned, it's where we grew up.
There's something rare about being surrounded by people who remember every single version of yourself. Every phase has been lived together.
From loom bands being the peak of fashion,
Anime being the peak of discussion in middle school,
and the version of ourselves we became in the peak of the DP, first semester of 12th grade. As we journeyed through these chapters, we had each other to lean on.
going to an international school teaches you many things, but we'd agree that the biggest lesson is it teaches you how to adapt.
Things are constantly changing. Annie and I have been here for 16 years, and we've seen our friendships, the campus, and Lusaka evolve and grow with us.
In play school, Lauren and I met, along with Neil, Chris, Aditya, and Arjun. A little while later in pre-K, we met Jana and Mubanga. These relationships have been our anchor, our stability in the ever-changing international student experience.
We played on the termite-infested wooden playground where all of us got splinters daily and feared for our lives as we climbed to the top. We swung on the swings in unison, kicking our feet to the mahogany tree and competing to see who could get the highest.
And don't even get us started about the spider swing. The race to get there felt like you were running for an Olympic gold medal. You were the hero if you could secure it, especially if you could beat the 5th graders.
One day, we were sat down by Principal Williams and finally asked to vote for a new playground. We chose the one that is currently standing today. So primary students, you're welcome, because that was us. That is just one of the many examples of how our school environment has changed.
Along with that, we are honored to be one of the few students who can actually claim that they tried Miss Margot's pink hot dogs from the tuck shop.
And don't forget the one kwacha jelly cubes.
Miss Margot's hot dogs were the perfect post-swim gala snack to have with friends.
On that note, friends were another changing feature of attending AISL. We learned to say goodbye to old friends and hello to new ones.
We said hi to Mila in the 1st grade, Lawrence in the 2nd, Kayla in the 4th, then Sana, Yishwan, and Benson in the 5th grade. Then once we got to secondary school, in 7th grade we welcomed Kwame and Diego, and Rand in 8th grade.
Then, once we reached high school, we greeted Sade, Sapphire, Elio in 9th grade, Saya Musonda in 10th, and lastly, Vic, Jaya, Alina, Leanne, Einar, Jawad, Tom, Maya, and Jackson in 11th to make us the senior class you see on stage today.
Each of these students have come from different countries, from different schools, and they all bring their own unique experiences to enhance our understanding of the world.
We've made memories together that will be treasured for the rest of time. For example, the quote book. Annie's notes app was on standby constantly and captured some of our funniest moments and phrases.
As of right now, there are a total of 234 quotes, mainly provided by Tom with 19 and Kwame with 25.
To continue, you might be wondering, what on earth is this bear doing on stage?
This is Francesco, another core memory of our grade. He joined the senior class in May 2024 after he was rescued from ShopRite by Neil, Diego, and me, and he got to attend our 10th grade Easy trip. After that, he was immediately adopted by our grade.
With us, he got to experience our senior year's most memorable moments. After prom, senior sunrise, Halloween, our Easy DP trip, and most recently, senior sunset. Just like with all our other friends, we welcomed him with open arms.
And we can't forget all the times we jammed out to the chemical pantographs. Most memorably, the time we formed a mosh pit at Just For Them. It was a unifying moment for our grade as a senior class.
We have taken the time to mention a few of these memories, but there are so many more that will be treasured forever.
Together we have grown and we've changed.
And we have connected over time. We must hold on to our time at AISL, no matter how long or short it may have been.
These years hold stories that we will tell in the years to come, and when the time comes to tell them, we hope you can reflect on your past at AISL as one filled with laughter and with fondness.
We are so glad that we got to be a part of your beginnings. Thank you for making year 16 out of 16 the best one.
I'm Annie B.
I'm Lolo.
And this is us closing the class of 2026 chapter at AISL.
Thank you, Annie and Lauren, for those wonderful memories. We're going to continue with this theme a little bit, as Annie is going to sing a song entitled The View Between Villages, and graduates, there's going to be a little video playing behind you that goes with it. Take it away, Annie.
rest of the bugs leave their homes again, and I'm split in the road down the middle. For a minute the world seems so simple. Feel the rush of my blood, I'm 17 again. I am not scared of death, I've got dreams again. It's just me in the curve of the valley, and there is meaning on earth. I am happy. Oh, past Algebrook Road, I'm over the bridge. A minute from home, but I feel so far from it. The depth of my dog, the stretch of my skin, it's all washing over me. I'm angry again. The things that I lost here, the people I knew, they got me surrounded for a mile or two. The car's in reverse, I'm gripping the wheel. I'm back between villages, and everything's still.
Thank you, Annie, for the video and the song. That was beautiful. Now, please welcome Arjun to the podium to reflect a bit on the present.
Good evening, teachers, parents, family members, and the class of 2026. It is an absolute honor to stand up here and to speak to all of you today. Looking out at everyone gathered here, it is impossible not to feel the massive weight of this occasion. Everyone seems to view today as a light at the end of the tunnel, but I think that's a derivative way of looking at it. Every single day should be a day you want to enjoy, including right now. It is a day you decide how you want to live, and you get to make your own choices. There is no real end to our journey, but rather it is our ability to learn, to live, and enjoy the present. We spent the last month sitting through 15 or more exams, fueled entirely by the thought that once the stress was over, we could finally start living. We constantly push our lives into the future, telling ourselves that happiness was always one more deadline away, instead of realizing that life was happening right then in the middle of the stress. While it's important to work hard, we shouldn't take everything so incredibly seriously. When we look back on these 2 years, we're not going to be laughing at the grade boundaries or the perfect outlines we wrote. Honestly, I don't even remember the actual exam papers. What I remember is the chaotic version of studying we did in the library right before. I remember everyone literally praying for me when I confidently wrote about capillary action instead of photosynthesis. Sorry, Mr. Mapstone. We're going to look back and laugh at the completely ridiculous, funny things we did just to survive, because those are the moments that actually keep us going. If you're so hyper-focused on being flawless and serious, you completely freeze yourself out of having fun. We need to come to terms with the fact that everything we have done, every late night, every stress, is just a product and stepping stone to where we're standing right now. If you do not let yourself be lighthearted and messy right now, you're going to look back later and realize you actually forgot to live. I mean, think about the things that actually define our time here. It's spending an entire free block playing Dirt Rally Racer on Crazy Games, the one moldy coffee mug in the senior lounge that nobody touched for a few weeks. It's watching Lian and Einar during self-defense. The value is in those loud, shared moments of connection in the middle of panic and chaos. In fact, I want us to do a little exercise together. I want everyone to just stop and look around the auditorium for a minute. Feel the stage lights burning down on you. Notice your sweaty palms. Feel the heavy fabric draped on your shoulders and the weight of the cap sitting on your head. Truly take it in. This is your high school graduation. The present tense is not just for us. It's for everyone in this auditorium. Teachers, look at us and remember your students as they are today. Parents and loved ones, look at your kids. Let us all revel in the fact that very soon we will be sent off into a far-flung future, and we do not know exactly where that it will be, but we need to come to enjoy the mystery of it. I think the biggest thing that people miss out on as they get older is they look back and they always have a what-if viewpoint. They live with the regret of the things they left unsaid, the jokes they did not make, or the risks they did not take because they were too afraid of looking dumb. But it's always better to make a mistake and come to terms with it than to live a life full of what-ifs. The perfect time to say what we mean or do what we want does not exist. If we keep waiting for the right moment to arrive, it never will. And we'll just end up pushing our lives further down the road. Deep down, almost every single one of us in this room has something we have been meaning to say. Tell those people you love them. Tell those people you're thankful for them. Make sure you really learn to live in the present and relish it, because the present is a gift. And soon enough, these exact days will become memories. To the specific friend who walked beside you through the hardest late nights and you have not properly told how much they matter to you. The teacher who changed how you think, who deserves to know they made a difference before you walk out that door. There are parents and family members in the audience who have carried us to the finish line, whom we need to look in the eye and truly thank. And there are things we need to say to each other to close this chapter properly. Allow yourself to go and do it right now. Yes, we will all continue to study hard. Yes, we'll all continue to work hard. But you can only form these true, meaningful connections if you live with intention and if you live in the present tense. Always, and I really mean always, live in the moment. Because if you do not, you will always regret that you never did. So now is the time to take that step. We cannot wait for next month over text message when we all move to different ends of the earth. My challenge to all of us today is simple. Be the person who takes that step. What's now is now. Look around the room at the classmates who became family, the friends who saw you at your worst and best, and the people who love you unconditionally. Do the most with what you have right now, because we never know if we will get this exact opportunity again. Change is coming. This dynamic will never happen in the exact same way. It will not last forever, but it is happening right now. So do not wait till the future to start living. Soak this in. Be here completely. Congratulations to the class of 2026.
Gratitude in the moment. Perfect, Arjun. Thank you for that. Our last student speaker is going to talk about where they're all going. Jaya, come speak about their future.
thank you very much. I am honored to have been nominated by my colleagues and friends to deliver this speech about the future. One of the most exciting things about being a senior and graduating is thinking about the future and finally being able to fulfill one's true interests and passions. However, for some of us, it may still be a bit scary. After talking to every one of my friends and peers, I was truly able to grasp the diversity and potential of this graduating class. Many of us, like myself, are going to study the sciences, whether it's sports sciences, biology, human sciences, environmental sciences, chemistry, physics, and so much more. But that's not all. Some of us are chasing our dreams in business. Some of us are going to become artists, architects, engineers, photographers, entrepreneurs, and even lawyers. Kwame, I'll give you a call if I'm in any trouble, eh? On the other hand, some of us may still be searching for the right path for our future. To those of you who are still unsure about your career path, the word path isn't even the right word to use, because it's more like Leopard's Hill Road outside with all the potholes and all the terrible drivers, you know? Uncertainty is inevitable and will happen at every step in your journey. But if you are really unsure, listen to the words of Rodney Dangerfield from the movie Back to School. He said, "As you go out into the world, my advice to you is don't go. It's rough out there. Move back with your parents. Let them worry about it." In reality, we won't have mom and dad to help us anymore. We'll have to do our own laundry, buy our own groceries, cook our own food, pay the bills, even do taxes. Help me. But ultimately, change will happen, and change is good. Don't be afraid of uncertainty. Use it as a tool to open yourself up to new opportunities. But with this group of people, I am sure that all of us will succeed in the future and fulfill every one of our dreams. Aside from looking at what's to come in university and in future jobs, one of the hardest things, I'm sure, for all of us is to leave this behind, what we have right now. Our friends, our homes, our teachers, and even Francesco, our grade mascot. The class of 2026 is such a close bunch of friends that we're already discussing high school reunions, even before graduation. And that's still gonna happen, by the way. 5 more years, 2031. It's planned. As we inch closer to graduation, we have reflected upon the past, sharing nostalgic memories and moments from our time together at school. In the present, we sit here in the PAC ready to graduate after months of turmoil under the IB's regime. And now we prepare ourselves for the future, a future that presents infinite possibilities and directions. I have only been here for 2 years, but you guys have made it the most memorable 2 years of my life. And I'll never doubt that all of us will continue to cross paths. I can't wait to see where all of us end up, and I have high hopes for each and every one of my colleagues. I love you, class of 2026. You will all do amazing things. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaya. All I got is they're ready to take care of their laundry, so nice to have that sorted. Following all of these memories, heartfelt words, and advice for their future, we now turn to our final speaker, chosen by the graduates. This speaker has made a strong connection with our students, and he's left a lasting impact on them. And he's ready to share a bit of his story. Please welcome Mr. Kip Mapstone.
Thank you. Parents, students, teachers, administrators, can you hear me? You guys, can you hear me? Parents, students, teachers, administrators, and distinguished guests, thank you for joining us this afternoon to celebrate the graduation of the class of 2026. And leave it to this class to choose the one potential speaker who is absolutely terrified of public speaking. Like a hot mess right now. My heart rate was rising steadily with the conclusion of each one of the speakers. I think I'm at about 110 right now. This is almost as bad as the unwillingly starting a foot race with a mama elephant at Mvu. Fortunately, I won that, or else I wouldn't be here talking to you tonight. But despite what my body may be telling me right now, this time I need to stand my ground because it's such an honor to have been chosen to speak to you tonight. Anyone who knows me, especially those I've taught, knows that beyond teaching content, I love telling stories. Sometimes relevant stories, sometimes stories that eventually become relevant, and occasionally stories that seem to wander aimlessly before somehow finding their way back to the lesson. But there's a reason for that. Long before humans ever learned to write words down on paper, stories were how people connected with family, community, passed down knowledge and wisdom, explained the world around them, and made sense. Is it not working? Okay. I'll start back here. Stories, is it working? Come on, guys. Help me out here. I know, right? You're killing me right now. Learn to write words down on paper. Stories were how people connected with family and community, passed down knowledge and wisdom, explained the world around them, and made sense of their lives. Stories entertain us. They warned us. They preserved us. And in many ways, they still do. I've always used stories in my teaching, not just to make them the content more personable or relatable, but to remind students that I'm also just a person. No more, no less. Someone who has succeeded at times, failed at times, made mistakes, learned lessons the hard way, and hopefully gathered a little wisdom along the way worth sharing. Because education has never really been about content. At least I don't think it is. Tonight, I would ask you to not only listen to my words, my stories, but to also reflect on yours. As you leave this PAC tonight and begin the next chapter of your lives, you'll learn new things, meet new people, and create new memories. And as time moves forward, as it always does, those new experiences will slowly begin to erode some of the old ones. You'll forget formulas, you'll forget assignments, you'll probably forget about 90% of what your teachers tried to teach you. That's just statistics. And if there's any parents in the audience who are currently calculating the return on investment of their tuition based on that number, please wait a couple of weeks till I go. But what tends to remain are the moments, the stories, the times you struggled with something and eventually figured it out. The conversations you didn't realize mattered at the time, the people who changed you in small ways without you noticing. Those are the things that stay. Those are the things that shape who you become. And the interesting thing about stories is that no matter where they come from, most good stories tend to share a few common elements. Mr. Slaby, you can confirm with me at the end. Character, conflict, change, meaning. And the more I've thought about it over the years, the more I've realized that those same elements exist in nearly every meaningful human life too, including yours. Every story begins with a character, someone imperfect, someone uncertain, someone trying to figure things out while pretending they probably already have, which feels especially appropriate at graduation. Because despite what social media and college acceptance posts might suggest, very few people actually know exactly who they are at 18 years old. At 18, you might have a grand plan for the next decade of your life, but you're also still trying to figure out how to do your own laundry without turning all of your white shirts pink. But rest assured, many adults are still working on their identity too, even at 49. And that's normal because stories require development. They require growth, and growth takes time. And you do not need to have your entire story figured out right now. You just need to keep participating in it. Unfortunately, every good story also requires conflict, which I personally think is a deeply flawed system. I would have preferred a story structure built entirely around comfort, emotional stability, and things working out immediately. And snacks, definitely snacks. But apparently that does not create meaningful character development. Growing up in the southern United States, I experienced racial tension from multiple perspectives throughout my life, first as a student, then later as a teacher. And one of the difficult things about growing older is realizing that childhood stories are often incomplete, sometimes biased, sometimes shaped by fear, culture, or limited perspective. Listening to the stories of those who experienced the world differently than I did force me to see those gaps. And while I would have described myself as tolerant when I was younger, over time I realized tolerance is a pretty low standard. Tolerance says, I disagree with your story, but I'll allow it to exist. Acceptance asks more of us. Acceptance requires curiosity, listening, humility. It requires recognizing that another person's experience and perspectives are just as real to them as yours are to you. And that shift from passive tolerance to genuine acceptance changed the way I understood people. And honestly, it changed the way I understood myself. Conflict isn't just societal or external. Sometimes it's deeply personal, quiet, and heartbreaking. When I was 16, my sister lost her life in a car accident. She was only 13 months older than me. For a long time, I avoided grieving properly. I distracted myself, buried myself in other things, convinced myself that I was fine. But eventually I learned that ignoring pain does not remove it. It simply postpones it. And it wasn't until my early 20s that I finally gave myself permission to grieve honestly and fully. What I learned from that experience was something I wish more people understood earlier. Self-care is not selfish. It's one of the highest forms of self-respect and self-love that exists. And for those of you here tonight who feel immense pressure to always look perfect, to transition seamlessly into university, or to quietly bury your stress, remember that taking care of your own heart is not a distraction from your goals. It's the foundation of them. The thing about conflict is that eventually, if we allow it to, it will change us. Sometimes quietly, sometimes all at once. A few years ago, many of you know that my wife went through breast cancer. My world was completely turned upside down. Suddenly, I found myself responsible not only for my own emotional stability, but also for the emotional, physical, and mental stability of 3 other human beings. I had no idea what to do. But you know, the strange thing about difficult moments is that you often discover capacities within yourself that you did not know existed until circumstances demand. That experience forced me to reevaluate everything. What mattered, what didn't, what deserved my time and energy. And somewhere in that process, I learned to let go of resentment I had been carrying around for years. I learned not to live in the past, but also not to ignore it, to use it instead to better appreciate the present and imagine a better future. And perhaps most importantly, I learned that even terrible experiences can still contain lessons if we're willing to look for them. Lessons that can help us love more deeply, live more gratefully, and move through the world with more grace. In the years ahead, you too will face seasons that disrupt your carefully written scripts. A friendship that fades, a major you realize you hate, or an unexpected personal loss that blindsides you. When those moments come, remember that you're not failing at your story. You're simply in the middle of a chapter that is testing, reshaping, and expanding your capacity to endure. Your story is challenging you to adjust, adopt, to change, or adapt, to change. And I think that's ultimately why stories matter. Not because they are always happy, not because they always resolve clearly, but because they help us find meaning, perspective, connection. And in a world that increasingly encourages people to divide themselves into sides, categories, and opposing narratives, the ability to genuinely understand another person's story matters now more than ever. Because when people stop listening to each other's stories, they stop seeing each other as human. And history has shown us repeatedly that things tend to deteriorate pretty quickly after that. Years from now, you will probably not remember most of the academic tasks that you completed here. Again, statistics. But you will remember the moments. You will remember who helped shape you, the conversations that changed your thinking, the difficult seasons that taught you something important about yourselves. These moments become stories. And those stories eventually become the meaning people carry in their lives. That's why, before I step away from this podium, I want to thank you. Because for the last 2 years, our stories have been intertwined. I've watched your characters develop. We've navigated conflicts together, both inside the classroom and out. I've watched you change, adapt, and challenge who you are. And the beautiful thing about teaching is that watching you navigate your chapters have fundamentally changed me too. Thank you for letting me be a character in your story. And thank you for being such an unforgettable part of mine. The time we shared together has added a depth to my own story that I'm incredibly grateful for. And as you move forward into whatever comes next, I hope you remember this. Your story is unfolding. There will be conflict. There will be uncertainty. There will be moments where you do not even know what chapter you're in. That does not mean your story is broken. It actually means you're growing. And if you can learn to approach both your own story and the stories of others with curiosity, humility, acceptance, and grace, you will become not just successful people, but deeply human ones. And the world could probably use a little bit more of that right now. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Mapstone. Class, you chose your speakers wisely. And you're almost there. It is now time for the presentation of the diplomas to the class of 2026. Mr. Shane Spellman, our AISL board chair, I'm pleased to announce that the students you see before you have all met the requirements of graduation at the American International School of Lusaka. I now request your assistance as board chair, along with our director, Dr. Tour, to award our students their diplomas. Could you please both step forward to center stage? At the same time, I will now invite our IBDP coordinator, Mr. Etienne Simonet, to the podium to call the roll of graduates. When each student's name is announced, we ask them to make their way forward, and our DP grade leader, Mr. Michael Martinez, will provide some brief information for each graduate while they receive their diploma. Back row, please rise.
So our first graduate, unfortunately, couldn't be here today, but we want to recognize Benson John Pong Lee. Jackson DeWall.
Jackson helped lead the ICS swimming teams and track teams. He's also a master at the drum set and has rocked out with some of his fellow peers at AISL. Jackson plans to attend Brigham Young University and will focus on studies related to biology.
Jackson DeWall. Maya Tilly.
Maya has been a spirited contributor inside and outside of the class, helping out with events such as the triathlon and the Green Council. Maya plans to take a gap year after AISL with some supplemental studies in order to explore more of her interests and passions.
Maya Tilly. Thomas Tate.
Thomas helped found the Wildlife Club and was invested in other service engagements. He was also a fierce competitor on ICS sports teams. In the future, Thomas hopes to pursue university studies related to sports science with a focus on exercise and physiology.
Thomas Tate. Musonda Sunkutu.
Musonda served as the editor of the Spotted Scoop newspaper. He was also an active member of the Green Team focused on sustainable policies at AISL. He will be attending the University of Calgary to pursue studies in design and city innovation in hopes of becoming an eco-progressive architect.
Musonda Sunkutu. Jawad Nejmuddin Kader.
Jawad has contributed to Leopards Against Malaria, Wildlife Club, and other service engagements. He also took part in basketball and track. He plans on continuing his learning journey in university while exploring his passions and different career choice options.
Jawad Nejmuddin Kader. Einar Engwall.
Einar was a bassist in a rocking band in and around ASL and was also a member of the boys' ISES and ICEA basketball teams. He looks forward to studying physics in Sweden in the coming years.
Einar Engwall. Lian Ali Khan Nizar.
Leon was an active participant in both the rugby and football teams. Leon is taking that passion and energy to Amsterdam while he will be attending the Wittenberg University of Applied Sciences to study business.
Lian Ali Khan Nizar. Alina Ali Khan Nizar.
Alina served as vice president of the high school social council and was also involved in service engagements via the Malaria Project and Chupis. Alina plans to study business in university.
Alina Ali Khan Nizar. Jaya Bushemi.
Jaya has rocked out as a performing artist, MUN president, golfer, and swimmer at AISL. In the coming years, he plans on pursuing environmental sciences in the Netherlands at Wageningen University and Research.
Jaya Bushemi. Fikrab Atnafu Getacho.
Vic was an engaged member of the Wildlife Club during his DP years and also took part in ICEA choir. Vic plans on studying psychology in the coming years with hopes of attaining a master's in that field of study.
Fikrab Atnafu Getacho. Saya Helena Skarbinski.
Saya was the president of the Social Council, founded the Business Consulting Club, and was part of the track and field team in the prom committee. Saya will be attending Baruch College in New York to study international business.
Saya Helena Skarbinski. Elio Gray.
Elio was an active member of the football and basketball teams at AISL. He will be attending university in Barcelona to study business administration with digital innovation.
Elio Gray. Sapphire Shenton.
Sapphire was an enthusiastic participant in the Wildlife Club, the prom committee, and Chupis. Sapphire plans to take a gap year and then study accessory design in London with the hopes of starting her own sustainable fashion accessory company.
Sapphire Shenton. Sade Saritsa.
Sade has been a member and leader of JAWS, as well as NHS during her high school years, serving as parliamentarian in grade 12. Sade is planning on studying biomedicine or molecular life science in the future with the goal of being a biomedical researcher.
Sade Saritsa. And Tabi Rand.
Rand was a spirited and inquisitive contributor at ASL. Rand looks forward to bringing that spirit and curiosity to Trent University in Canada in order to study biology with a focus on environmental research moving forward.
And Tabi Rand. Diego Liceaga Bashigalupi.
Diego captained the varsity football and volleyball teams, leading them to regional and national tournament victories. Diego plans on pursuing a dual bachelor's degree in economics and international relations in Madrid moving forward.
Diego Liceaga Bashigalupi. Nana Kwame Echampong.
Kwame was involved with the Green Team Council, ICEA Choir, football, and rugby. He also served as NHS president. Kwame will be pursuing studies in law at the Queen Mary University of London in hopes of one day practicing social justice-related law.
Nana Kwame Echampong. Yi Xuan Hu.
Ishan was a creative member of our community who appreciated the AISL environment. He is passionate about fine arts and will be pursuing studies at the Rhode Island Institute of Design with a focus on arts and therapy.
Yi Xuan Hu. Sana Saadi.
In Sana's 8 years at ASL, she has been a resilient student, to say the least. She plans on studying business and real estate in Australia with the hopes of owning a business empire one day.
Sana Saadi. Kyla Haramse.
Kyla was the ICEA girls basketball captain, leading them to multiple ISES nationals. She was also the lead singer and guitarist in a rock band in and around campus. She intends to take a gap year focusing on sustainable agricultural investments and hopes to pursue studies in that field moving forward.
Kyla Haramse. Shalin Guo.
Lawrence helped lead the Tech Council, basketball team, and STEAM efforts, along with NHS investments in awesome documentation of AISL events via photography. Lawrence will take his passion, innovation, and leadership with him to the University of Michigan to study computer science.
Shalin Guo. Mila Mutale.
Mila has been a multifaceted and versatile ICEA participant in choir, rugby, and football. She also helped lead important councils at AISL. Mila will be heading to the University of Bath to pursue studies in sociology and eventually hopes to complete a master's in human rights law.
Mila Mutale. Jana Kalnib.
Jana has been on various sports teams at AISL and captained the girls' football team this year. She was also involved in the Troopis, Wildlife Club, and Social Council. She plans on pursuing business management at the American University of Beirut.
Jana Kalnib. Mubanga Shikwanda.
Wubanga was a member of the golf team during his MYP years. He also contributed some of the artwork that you see around the AISL campus. He's looking forward to studying visual arts at Brock University in Ontario, Canada.
Mubanga Shikwanda. Christopher Krishna Richards.
Christopher was involved with football and choir at AISL and also helped with classroom support in primary school. He plans on attending Loughborough University to study biological sciences and pursue efforts related to research and practical experience.
Christopher Krishna Richards. Arjun Koradia.
Arjun was an active member of AISL's Green Council and founded AISL's first student-run newspaper, which is now a successful CCA. Arjun will be studying at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia in the fall.
Arjun Koradia. Aditya Koradia.
Aditya was a founding member of the Green Council and also served as president. He's also the treasurer of the NHS. Moving forward, Aditya will be studying business at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C.
Aditya Koradia. Lauren Cummings.
Lauren has served as Sports Council Vice President, Choupies President, Prom Committee Chair, NHS Vice President, and was a member of the choir for 6+ years. Moving forward, Lauren plans on majoring in biology and minoring in law and politics to help make the world a better place.
Lauren Cummings. Neil Baga.
Neil was a member of the football team and green team during his years at AISL. He also partook in ICEA band and regionals golf. Moving forward, he will be heading to City St. George's University of London to study finance.
Neil Baga. Annie Burrows.
Annie has served as the captain of the boys and girls tennis teams, leading them to sustain success in competitions and tournaments. She's also been pivotal in documenting important AISL events via photography. Annie plans to attend Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon.
Annie Burrows.
Could all the graduates please stand as Dr. Tour will now present the class of 2026.
Graduating class of 2026, please move your tassel from right to left. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the graduating class of 2026.
Turn your magic on. Let me see it say everything you want to dream away.
please find a hat. Any hat will do at this point. And take a seat. Oh, there's lots of tassels left over. This concerns me. Okay, audience, if you could just please remain in your seats until after the graduates leave the auditorium to greet their teachers. I will then invite you to join our graduates on the lawn for our letter exchange and our graduation reception. Faculty, if you haven't left yet, now's your time. Graduates, I get the final word again. It's great being at the mic. I'm picturing you sitting around the fire last night, and the moments you shared truly show who you are as a class. And I think just listening to you and that welcoming spirit that you all shared, everybody showed you to let you be who you are in this place. I think you need to remember that you're also the ones that welcomed everybody else in. And that's that leopard spirit we were talking about. And we're all so proud of you. And just remember, this is why we say this: once a leopard, always a leopard. Graduates, please stand. Audience, join me in one last congratulations to the AISL graduating class of 2026.
Turn your magic on. Let me she'd say everything you want to dream away. We are legends every day. That's what she told him. Turn your magic on. To me she'd say everything you want to dream away. Under this pressure, under this weight.
Thank you so much for attending. The letter exchange happens out on the lawn where we have a lovely reception. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye.